No matter how hard Russia tries to hide it, news will likely break in 2 to 3 days that the railway section of the Crimean Bridge is shut down. Pavlo Lakiychuk, head of security programs at the Center for Global Studies Strategy XXI, shared this view on Espreso TV after the third SBU strike on the Crimean Bridge. The Crimean Bridge isn't just one structure. It's a complex system made up of a road bridge and a railway bridge that stretch across the Kerch Strait and the Kerch-Yenikale Canal. Above the canal, 2 separate arches allow ships to pass. These are the bridge's weakest points. So when we talk about damaging the Crimean Bridge, it could mean hitting either the road or the rail section, he said. Pavlo Lakiychuk pointed out that the security service of Ukraine had already carried out a successful attack on the Crimean Bridge, when a truck explosion caused part of the road section to collapse. One of the road spans 2 lanes collapsed, and that section is still operating under restrictions, he said. Now, it's clear this latest strike was precise. If the SBU says there were no casualties, it likely targeted the railway supports. That's the key point. Car traffic matters, but Russian logistics rely on the railway. They're even trying to build a new rail line around the Sea of Azov because they know this route could be cut at any moment. We're now waiting for confirmation that the railway bridge is out. I expect we'll hear about it in the next 2 or 3 days, no matter how hard the Russians try to cover it up. The military expert also noted that Ukrainian intelligence recently hit a key Russian supply route in the temporarily occupied Zaporizhzhia region. Ukraine's main intelligence directorate struck a locomotive and train in the occupied south, said Pavlo Lakiychuk. This was the so-called Tavrida, a backup route meant to replace the Crimean Bridge by running through mainland Ukraine. This strike has seriously disrupted the logistics of Russian forces operating in southern Ukraine. So, problems begin with supply of Russian army in Crimea. Andriy Yermak, head of the Office of the President of Ukraine, commented on the recent SBU strike on the Crimean Bridge, emphasizing that Russia has turned Crimea into a military base. He noted that the bridge is actively used to supply military equipment and weapons. These statements were made in an interview with the American TV channel Newsmax TV. This is a way to deliver weapons to the Crimean Peninsula and how Russia uses the Crimean Peninsula after the annexation. It is used as a military base, said Andriy Yermak. Yermak also stressed that Russian forces, particularly from Crimea, are launching missiles at Ukrainian cities. The Russian Federation has no replacement for strategic bombers. We are talking about the astronomical figures of damage after the strikes that were carried out by Ukraine on June 1. This was stated by the editor-in-chief of the specialized military publication Defense Express Oleg Katkov on air at Kiev 24. A strategic bomber costs some astronomical figures. It is not even measured in money, especially for the Russian Federation. To understand, relatively speaking, a modern strategic bomber is about prices of more than $1 billion per side, for one plane, because very few of them are produced. The Tu-160 is a plane that was developed in the Soviet Union. According to various estimates, there are up to 18 of them left in the entire Russian Federation, he said. According to him, for example, the Russians no longer produce the Tu-95. The only replacement that they can still partially make is to take the Soviet airframe and try to assemble a new plane from the Soviet fuselage. But they have nothing new. Katkov noted that all that the Russians have in terms of new developments is a drawing, an approved sketch of a new strategic bomber. There is nothing except this sketch, there is no replacement, that is, these are irretrievable losses, the expert noted. With this, Ukraine saved Europe from the attack of the Russian army for a certain period of time. Recall, Ukraine carried out one of the largest covert operations of the war, attacking Russian airfields with kamikaze drones in a special operation codenamed Spider Web. According to a Ukrainian intelligence official who wished to remain anonymous, the operation was possible thanks to a unique scheme for delivering drones into enemy territory, the Washington Post reports. According to the data, FPV drones filled with explosives were smuggled into Russia and hidden in trucks and under the roofs of buildings. After a command, special containers were opened remotely, from where a swarm of drones flew out to attack airfields. The operation was prepared for more than 18 months under the personal leadership of President Zelensky, the official said. The attacks could have destroyed the Tu-95 strategic aircraft, which carry long-range cruise missiles, and the A-50 airborne radars that coordinate Russian aviation. If confirmed, it would be one of the most serious blows to the Russian Air Force's capabilities since the war began. Videos released by Ukrainian special services show explosions and fires at one of the Russian airfields, as well as the destruction of aircraft. Ukrainian drones have demonstrated their ability to carry out precise strikes on military targets deep in Russia. After successful attacks on Russian strategic aviation airfields, speculations have emerged about the possibility of a similar strike on the presidential motorcade. In particular, journalist and military expert Petr Shuklanov analyzed the SBU Special Operation Web in his blog. According to him, Ukrainian special services have proven their ability to conduct large-scale operations behind enemy lines involving dozens of people. Shuklanov notes that Ukraine has established supplies of the necessary equipment to Russia on an industrial scale. Drones, in his opinion, were purchased directly in the Russian Federation, and explosives and special devices were delivered from Kazakhstan and China. The expert emphasizes that the Ukrainian special services have proven their ability to destroy Russia's nuclear triad en masse. Today, these are airfields; tomorrow, they could become ports with nuclear submarines or launch silos. Currently, the Ukrainian special services are targeting primarily military facilities and Russian military commanders. However, tomorrow the goal of the war may change, writes Shuklanov. According to the journalist, it is now quite possible to imagine a group attack and destruction of the presidential motorcade. He emphasizes that it is no longer impossible. The Telegraph editorial board asked the Grok artificial intelligence about the probability of a successful drone attack on Vladimir Putin's motorcade. The AI analyzed several key factors. In its opinion, the main obstacles to such an attack are the motorcade's defense systems. Putin is accompanied by the Pantsir anti-aircraft missile system, which effectively shoots down small drones. In addition, Russian security services use two Oris vehicles for camouflage. This makes it difficult to determine which vehicle the target is in. Electronic warfare is also used to suppress drone signals. In addition, trips are planned a month in advance with strict secrecy. Ukrainian drones have demonstrated the ability to strike hundreds of kilometers away. However, as the neural network claims, attacking a moving object requires high precision and resistance to electronic warfare. Drones used to strike stationary objects are less effective against fast-moving targets. The difficulty lies in targeting a constantly moving target. In addition, information about Putin's movements is often made public only after the visit is over. Based on the analysis of all factors, artificial intelligence estimated the probability of a successful attack at 5 to 10%. However, the success of such an operation depends on extremely accurate reconnaissance and advanced drones. Even under such conditions, the result is subject to unpredictable factors, such as human error in the defense system. The actual details of the Russian president's protection remain classified.